Hello and welcome back to the Academy of the Magical Art. I'm Frater Ophel and this is Altered States of Consciousness and Trance Part 3, working on the other side. It's been a couple of weeks since we've done Part 1 and Part 2, and in the meantime somebody sent me a message asking me to do a video on creating ritual or practical application of these trance states within ritual. It's no big secret within the magical community that altered states of consciousness and trance are essential to a magician magical practice. Getting a good handle on how to put yourself into trance with ease is essential to bolstering the magic that you are trying to perform, for reasons discussed in Part 1 and Part 2 of this series. Understanding that, we also need to understand that each part or each step of the ritual process becomes a vital key to the success that we are trying to achieve. A formula that I was told when I was young in my craft was that imagination plus will plus trance equals magic. Yes, we can perform magic, all types of magic, without trance, or really even without imagination, or any other key to this, but if you really want to see some intense and fast success, use these three things in conjunction with each other and your results will come much more quickly and potently. In my own magical practice, from the moment that I enter into the temple, the magical work begins. I personally have a series of rituals that I do every day, just as a part of a practice that I've gotten into since I was younger, which includes performing the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram and the middle pillar exercise in particular. That's been a part of my daily practice for a couple of years now, because I believe that building proper habits leads to stronger and more potent success. So it's just a habit that I was told to get into when I was younger in my craft, and I've never gotten back out of. However, beginning to enter into the temple or even walking upstairs to the room, I begin to go into trance, just because this is something that I have personally become accustomed to over the past couple of years. However, with somebody just learning how to do these processes, it is important that you have a place in which to learn how to do these things, and that your body will become accustomed to, because after a while it becomes kind of like muscle memory. My subconscious mind knows that as soon as I'm walking towards that temple, I'm going to be going into trance, so it just starts doing it automatically before I even intend to do so. Generally, I wear a robe whenever I go in there, which is used only for magical practice within that room. However, not always. If I am just doing my daily rituals, that is not something that I will go ahead and take out and put on. However, if I'm doing anything beyond that, I certainly will do so. Lighting the candles and lighting the incense, and there's also a ring that I personally wear. Whenever I go in that room, there's a ring that's in a cabinet. That comes out of the cabinet, goes to my finger. That is a trigger to my body that says, okay, we are about to do these rituals. It's time to start slipping into trance. But vital to this process is the 15 to 20 seconds that I take before I start anything that is dedicated to grounding and calming my body and my mind before putting myself into the proper trance state through the use of the trigger with my thumb and middle finger on my right and left hand, pressing them together, counting backwards from 10. I personally believe, and I'm an advocate, that magical spells and rituals should be personal. They should be something that are created by you yourself, that you have placed the intention and the symbolism into, because you are trying to achieve your desired result. I've seen a lot of people print stuff offline. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, or get stuff out of books. That just depends on the person, that depends on the source. However, a lot of those spells or rituals that you'll find by perusing through Google or going onto some website, they were created for another person through the use of their imagination, through the use of their will, through putting themselves into trance, and they may or may not have found some success with that. When you do it yourself, you are placing the symbolism, you are doing the quote-unquote sigil magic throughout the whole process on yourself, programming and priming your mind up until the point of actual execution, in which case you can then see the results desired come through. I found that creating a ritual and getting it right is kind of like the process of baking a cake. You got to gather the ingredients, you have to set the temperature and the location in which you are going to be putting it together. You have to let these ingredients sit and cook and fester together for a while, allow that vibration to kind of meld, allowing all the separate vibrations to become one. Everything has to be put together properly, and the more you put together, the higher success you're going to have. The more vibrations that you bring into the picture, that you add to the equation, the closer you're going to get to the harmonization that you are seeking for. Keep in mind that proper preparation prevents poor performance. Having everything mapped out before you even start this process is really going to be an asset to you as soon as you get in there and get going, because a lot of people find themselves tripping up or saying while they're in the middle of the ritual, oh, I forgot this, or I should have done this, and it kind of throws their brain off track. And takes them a couple steps out of that trance state if they are having these thoughts pop into their head. So knowing that you have everything prepared properly, like I said, before you even walk in there, will allow you to regain and hold on to the focus that you are striving for throughout the entire process. So getting back to it, you want to have your ritual, your intention for the ritual completely mapped out. In the example that I'm going to use, we're going to do something for drawing some money. That's something that everybody seems to resonate with. Who doesn't want to add a little bit more prosperity to their life? So that's the example that we're going to go with. But what you're using and what you're wanting to use should be mapped out clearly, and you should have a clear image of from the time that you walk into that room. Have the day of the week and the time of the day predetermined. In this case, because we are going to be doing an abundance ritual, we're going to say that we are going to want to pick a day of the week that would resonate with abundance, which would resonate with fertility or drawing more of something. So looking at the planetary hours chart, we will see the planet that resonates most with this goal is obviously Venus. So the day of the week that we're going to choose is Friday, Friday being Venus's day. Secondly, we're going to look at the hour. What hour of that day should we perform this ritual on? I personally would recommend one of two. Either A, you're going to want to go with Venus, do a double whammy Venus hour on a Venus day, or go with Jupiter. Jupiter is the great benevolent giver, the benefactor, he who is going to outpour more. So to use a Jupiterian hour on a Venus day, you're going to find that that would be the quote-unquote right time, or the vibration being pushed upon us at that time is going to be the most advantageous to the goal that we're trying to achieve. Also, looking at the moon phase that you are working with is going to be very important. Whether you're working with a full moon, a new moon, a waxing moon, or a waning moon is going to affect whether you are adding to or taking away. Obviously, with an abundance spell, we are going to want to go with a full moon or a waxing moon, the growing moon, where the waning moon, taking away, or the new moon or dark moon is the absence thereof. So looking at the day of the week, the time of day, and the moon phase that you are presently in are three extraordinarily important factors to add into your ritualistic working. Secondly, understanding what types of herbs or ingredients, if you are using any of them at all, would help to produce the proper result. You can use things like basil, cinnamon, thyme, nutmeg. I'm always a huge advocate of ginger or jackroot. That is a huge booster or a bolster that will help your desired result come to you more quickly. And some sort of sugar or honey, something to sweeten your spell or ritual a little bit. not only understanding them, but how you are going to use them is also going to be a huge benefactor. Are you going to burn them as an offering? Are you simply going to have them present? Are you going to make a tea beforehand with them and have that brought into the temple with you that you can then drink and take into your body during or at the completion of your ritual? Are you going to anoint something with them? Understanding their purpose is huge. You know, if you are going to use any sigils or sigil magic, we've covered sigils a lot since we started this channel. So if you are to use a sigil, this would be a good time to charge your sigil or use a death posture to ingrain it into your subconscious mind, something of that nature. You know, having your candles or your candle colors for that matter. Are you going to use white, which is like an all-purpose? Are you going to use green? Are you going to use blue? Or are you going to use one of each? And if so, having them blessed, anointed, consecrated, and engraved with any symbols or sigils, such as Futhark Fehu or a money sign or the alchemical symbol for gold or silver, will be a huge asset. Also, if you're using a green candle, you might want to put the glyph for Venus on the green candle, and if you're going to use a blue candle, put the glyph for Jupiter on the blue candle. You know, and if you're going to use any oils to anoint yourself or anything else, or using something like a honey jar or a sweetening spell in conjunction with a ritual such as this would be extraordinarily advantageous as well. Also, if you're a person that likes to use chants, mantras, or incantations of any kind, verbalized rhythmic poetry that is aiming in the direction that you want to go, this would be a great time to throw one of those in there as well. Write it down and have it prepared before you even enter into the space in which you're going to go. Allow that space to be the first time that you use that mantra, and then that mantra will become an affirmation for you that you can repeat multiple times a day for multiple days. Up until, during, and after you see this magic starting to manifest within your life. So I suppose to kind of get down to a start to finish process, you can use this yourself if you want or tweak it in any way. So having all this stuff ready is going to really help everything get off, commence, and conclude on the right foot in a fluid and cohesive motion, which will really help keep everything from interruption. So if this were me personally doing this ritual, I would have, again, my day of the week, proper moon phase, time of the day mapped out. At that time, I would then commence into my temple. I would very probably put on any ring, robe. Some people like to use talismans, whatever, or even wearing planetary talismans that would help in the manifestation and in the addition to the vibration that you are trying to achieve. Lighting appropriate incense. You know, a good incense to use for drawing money would be cinnamon. And then I would commence with my initial two rituals that I always do every time I go into the temple. I would take 10 to 15 seconds, put myself in trance, perform the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram to banish any unwanted energies from the area, and kind of get myself into the ritual mindset. Do the middle pillar ritual to balance myself out and to really center myself properly. You can find links to both of those videos and the playlist titled Rituals. And after that has commenced, taking another 10 or 15 seconds to refocus myself, I would light the actual candles intended for the rituals at this time. I personally would probably use one blue candle and one green candle, the blue candle being on the right side and the green candle being on the left side, blue being for Jupiter and being masculine, green being Venus and feminine. Personally, I probably would have used some of the previously mentioned herbs to either grind up and make an additional incense or make a tea. And I also personally would have probably used a sigil because sigils are one of my favorite forms of manifestation or magic. And from there, that is when we would begin to adjust the vibration in the room by adding these quote-unquote ingredients, these candles that have been engraved with the sigils, the burning herb, having the tea on my altar, and I would begin to chant whatever affirmation that I was working towards. At which case you'll be able to feel the energy begin to shift in the area around you. You'll begin to feel the energy within yourself shifting. While repeating this affirmation and staring at this sigil, when I felt the energy getting extraordinarily intense in there, I would probably repeat the affirmation another 2 or 3 times before I would exhale all the breath from my lungs, close my eyes. When I couldn't take it anymore and I had to take a breath, I would then open my eyes, taking that breath in, breathing in the energy of that sigil, allowing it to integrate into the subconscious mind. That is a form of death posture. And at which case, then drinking that cup of tea just to kind of integrate the vibration of the sigil with the vibration of the herbs being used, allowing myself and my body to become the beacon that will then project energy outwards. And understanding like attracts like. If you are projecting abundance, abundance will be drawn unto you like a magnet. If we were to be using a honey jar or sweetening spell of some kind, the candle on top of the honey jar would have been lit through this entire process itself. However, this is a secondary form of magic in conjunction with the ritual being practiced or used that is just intended to bolster each other. That's a fairly easy to accomplish abundance or prosperity ritual. At the conclusion of that, I would then close by again doing the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram and the LBRP to banish any energies from the area and to recenter and focalize my own energies. Some ceremonial magicians would have in there at the commencing and ending of the ritual, they would have done one of the hexagram rituals or 2 of them for Venus and Jupiter to draw that energy into the room. Some people may like to do a ritualistic bath or shower before entering into a ritual. These are all just matters of perspective and really optional based on your practice, your personal practice, your beliefs, what works for you and what doesn't. The only way that you'll really be able to figure this stuff out is by doing it and practicing it. But that's just a really easy step-by-step process on how to accomplish a ritual, how to create a ritual in conjunction with the altered states of consciousness and see it performed or executed in a way that you will see your manifestation come to fruition. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to message me either on here or on Facebook via our own personal page, Frater Ophiel, or through the group page, the Academy of the Magical Art. I want to thank you for joining with me again today, and until next time, blessed be.